have seen so many stories. In fact, even in the last month, stories about Christianity, whether it is the king talking about Ramadan but not mentioning anything about Lent, whether it's the Church of England tweeting on Shrove Tuesday about net zero rather than mentioning Shrove Tuesday at all, or whether it's the biggest story of this week, which has been the school in Hampshire which had decided to get rid of its Easter services entirely out of respect for diversity. So Christianity is very much in the news, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Father Jamie Franklin, who is the priest of Holy Trinity Church in Winchester, and he's also the author of a brilliant new book which has been published by Hodder and Stoughton, entitled The Great Return: Why Only the Restoration of Christianity Can Save Western Civilization. So thank you so much for joining me, Jamie. So what would you say to those who, if this is a good place to start, what would you say to those who have been saying, well, you know, we're not a Christian country anymore, church attendance is in decline, belief is in decline, and so we can't really complain about all of these things that I've just mentioned because we're not really a Christian country? What would you say to that?
I think what I'd say to that is, and this is essentially the argument of my book, is that I really think that we're sort of living on the fumes of Christianity, as it were, in this civilization, in this generation. I think that there are many Christian concepts and ideas that we still want to hold on to, but we're having a difficult time with it. So chief among those, I'd look at something like, you know, the idea that we're all sort of equally valuable or something like that, which is fundamentally a Christian concept. But in various different ways, we can see the erosion of that idea happening in our society. I would point to, for example, the conversation around so-called assisted dying as evidence of that. I think it's actually constitutive of or indicative of an erosion of that idea that we're all equally valuable. It implies that people at the end of life, for example, are expendable or economically expendable, and therefore should be gotten rid of. So that's where I would start with this. I would say that, you know, people want the fruit of Christianity, broadly speaking, but you can't have the fruit without the root, and the root is actually belief in Christianity and the whole metaphysics and practice that goes along with it. So I think that's the issue. I'm not really telling anyone what to do in the book. I'm just sort of saying that this is the reality. You can't have a Christian civilization without Christianity. So we need to decide what we want. Do we want to be a Christian civilization, in which case we need, broadly speaking, belief in Christianity and support for it? Or do we want to be a post-Christian civilization and embrace whatever the implications of that might be?